Okay, this video is called Scott Gustafson is the best fairy tale artist. So this is Scott Gustafson, the artist. I spend a lot of time looking for paintings and illustrations of fairy tales because I give a lot of lectures about fairy tales. And I also, I'm an art connoisseur. I've studied art for a long time and I've got close friends who are artists. And I can tell you this guy's a fantastic artist. He's great. And he's the best of the fairy tale artists. I've seen some other good ones, but he's the best one. So if you're interested in buying books about fairy tales, I recommend you buy his books. And you should educate your kids about fairy tales. Albert Einstein had said, you want your kid to be smarter? Get them to read fairy tales. You want them to be even smarter than that? Have them read more fairy tales. Kids should be reading about this stuff. They're inspiring. They're beautiful. They're the reasons. There's good reasons why these stories have been around for hundreds of years. And seeing them well illustrated makes them even more memorable. And, just look at this painting right here. This is Beauty and the Beast by Scott Gustafson. And to me, this is like my life, okay? I was a wrestler, Mr. Tough Guy when I was young. And, then I dated this musician, and it was like she civilized me. I went to all these concerts at Ravinia, and I read about all the lives of all the composers and stuff. And that was really good for me. I wish that continued, but I'll show you what happened on the next slide. So here's another painting of Scott Gustafson. This one is his Little Mermaid, and this is kind of the idea like she comes from another world. The world of a medical doctor guy and the world of a musician, they're not the same. My girlfriend went to Juilliard, and it's because it was really my fault. I'm the one who first went away to go to Stanford. And what happens is a musician, they want to play in a show at night, like Les Miserables comes to Chicago, she'll play piano in the, for the orchestra. And so they want to stay up at night to perform in a show, and then there's often a party after the show. Whereas a doctor, it's like the opposite. You want to go to bed early. You got to be in the hospital by 5:30 in the morning to make rounds with the surgical service. And then you work a pretty long, busy day. You go to bed early. So I could just tell we were drifting apart. It made me sad, but it totally reminds me of this painting here. You're in love, you're happy, but it can't last because your lives are pulling you in different directions. And it is what it is. And then here's how you end up. Here's like where I am now, like Don Quixote, kind of an old fool, and just, trying to save the pearls, but hardly any of them even know I exist, yet alone listen to me. And, you do the best you can with what you got. And this, again, of course, is by Scott Gustafson. Great illustrations here, great paintings. And, of course, I love the Mirror, Mirror on the Wall from Snow White. This is by Scott. These are all by Scott Gustafson, every illustration shown in this talk. And so, that's the idea. Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Who is the healthiest of them all? The low-fat vegans. Okay, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Lots of things sound familiar with that. Okay, and then here is his author page. So I recommend, I really do. You want your kids to be smarter? Read them fairy tales before they can read. Once they can read, encourage them to read fairy tales. I would recommend too, you have them take drawing classes. The great thing about drawing is you can apply drawing to whatever you experience. And when the kids learn how to draw, when they hand in a paper, let's say in high school or college, they should always hand in a drawing with it. It makes the mind more intelligent to learn how to draw because you have to observe things in an objective way. And just being able to observe things in an objective way makes you smarter. You learn the whole vocabulary of art and illustration and objective observation, and that's all good. So anyways, this is it for Scott Gustafson, the best fairy tale painter, illustrator ever.